evening. So nothing in particularly planned. I just have a Magmar Quest right now, so I'm gonna hop into game pretty quick here. Just gotta decide what I want to do with Magmar. I don't think I have any current Magmar projects really. Nope, nothing in particular. Let me see. Did I have anything like in my browser that I've forgotten about? No. Well, now let's go ahead and grab a game with my Vath deck. It's what I used in Meltdown League this league. I went 3 for 3 with it. It's just a classic Vath list that has just always been towards the top of, hasn't been like the #1 deck other than, the brief moment of the finality meta, but ever since then, and ever since before then, it's always just been like it's the worst of the best decks. Let's see, no, that's not what it's called. That's the previous expansion. I'm looking for just final, since now that I've added back in Abjugator, it's a little bit more finality focused again than the previous incarnation. I could get behind that. Alright, so let's see. Oh yes, so I did also, this is what I used in my sideboard. I never actually used my sideboard, but basically this deck is really good against most things, but it really, really struggles with artifacts and walls. So basically my entire side deck was designed to make sure if I ran into an artifact or a wall deck, I wasn't going to just auto lose. Now, I really, really dislike EMP in Vath. I've never thought it was good there, but there are one or two matchups like the Ice Age Winter's Wake deck that nothing short of EMP is going to save you from it. Given, thanks to it, costing, Winter's Wake costing 8 mana, plus I can generally clear walls with Plasma or maybe Rebuke. It's not an auto loss, but just Luminous by itself can be pretty hard on Vath. So just in that very specific matchup, EMP can make a big difference, especially since I can flash him out. So if I toss that in there combined with Finality, I should be able to, deal with that. Now, as much as that matchup can be tough on Vath, and as I still just don't think the EMP is worth it in the main deck because it's really bad for this deck and is not great in a lot of matchups. But it's a very nice side deck card. And then the Shroud was just he's not there so much because of walls or whatnot. Mostly it's for the Vath mirrors, or maybe a Lancer deck. When your opponent is as big or bigger than you, that can be an issue. Alright, so we're up against Sheet-Eye, so it's probably going to either be, Gross, Gates Mantra, or possibly Arcanist. If it's Arcanist, we're going to want this Rebuke. I do need to keep digging for more here. Basically, so it depends on what we're up against, but we're going to want either at least one or both of these. And while I dislike replacing both of these, if it's Mantra, I'm going to have a pretty tough time using Drogon. And without a flash in hand, Macantra's going to be a bit slow. And again, if it's Mantra, I may not even get the opportunity to really use it well. So, at the moment, I'm just digging for an opening play, Finality, and the like. So far, I'm not getting lucky here, but sometimes it happens. This deck is a little light on opening plays. It only has 6/2 drops plus flash, which works out to, sort of 9, and it's just a deck that can afford. Alright, so now that we've seen Blood Rage Mask, that definitely hints that it's going to be more spell focused. So with that in mind, make sure it's not just some random trial deck, we're going to toss the Rebuke away. We still have a Nat Select. Okay, we don't even have a Plasma Storm to boot. So we are, if he does suddenly start dropping bodies, we still have plenty of stuff to deal with that. But for the moment, I'm starting to, try to re-gear my hand into prepared to fighting spell high rather than, a mid-range or Arcanist deck. And if he doesn't play a creature this turn, then Plasma's going to go. Now some, spell high decks have been tech. Hey, thanks Skarzig for the auto host, much appreciated. Now some, okay, so that still doesn't necessarily scream Arcanist. Loreweaver is something that is often used in spell high decks just because, it guarantees that you draw a spell. And especially if you draw the right spell, that can be a big deal. But, I think it's sure looking to me like a spell-focused deck. So we're going to go ahead and toss this Plasma. Now, the most common place I've seen Loreweaver, though, is in the Storm deck. I can't remember what it's called. But one of their newer cards, that starts at a high cost and gets cheaper as you play. And if they do play that, then I may indeed still want some AoE. But it's going to be a ways off. And also, I could have played an Abdicator, but really don't want to do that unless I have a Finality in hand. Alright, so we're jam-packed with healing, so at this point I'm just looking for Finality and looking for now I'm actually looking for some source of AoE in case it is a Storm deck. Oh, there's my Finality. So these Abdicators will get some quick use put in. Looks like I'll be getting a 6-mana Finality, and that'll be pretty fancy. Because I should still have this globe this turn, which should give me the ability to play both Abdicators, which I can then follow up with Finality the next turn. Now, I'm not usually quite so aggressive. Well, sometimes, it depends. Alright, well, I was looking. Wait, did he just 8 gates just for the Blood Rage Bass procs? Maybe. Although I think I don't like being this low on health, so I'm going to just do an Abdicator and a Earth Sphere, which, with that in mind, I won't need the second Abdicator to reduce this further, because I can't play it next turn. But there's no sense in reducing it again after that. So we'll just do this as our 6-mana play rather than double Abdicator just to make sure we're out of the danger zone. Alright, and now we have our backup Rebuke as well. So Abdicator here. I'm going to come over this way just to play around Backstab a little bit here. Let's trade face and top off our health out of like the immediate danger zone. And between... And we've got a backup Earth Sphere and a reduced Finality now, so we're not too worried about getting comboed either. Another 8 gates. I mean, that's 2 8 gates down, and that's sort of a big deal because 8 gates are what usually kills you. Mantra doesn't usually do enough to kill you, it just does so much that it makes finishing you off easy. Whereas 8 gates has that habit of just obnoxiously killing you from full sometimes. Alright, well I think again my best bet's just going to be Earth Sphere here. And yeah, because I can Earth Sphere, Metallurgist, and Overload. Well, I could Drogon again, just I don't like being this low on health versus this type of deck. So let's come on down here, top our health off again, throw a body out there just to help deal with the mask a little bit more. And again, just keep punching the mask, especially because next turn at this point we actually want our health a bit lower than it is right now, so that we don't waste any of the heals from now. We'll still play Finality either way, but, well, that's not necessarily true. I may have the ability to just kill him with Drogon next turn, so we'll see what happens here. With 2-8 gates down, I'm not feeling too worried about dying this turn, but what I suspect will happen is he will do a panic mantra or something just to get him out of a lethal Drogon range, but we will see. Knuckle Storm. He hasn't played an Abjugator this game, so that's a good sign. Alright, he's going the Knuckle Storm route. But it's looking like I may not even need this Finality after all, but we'll see. Although if he clears that, he will have a body block. 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Oh no, he didn't clear it. Ah, well that's... I don't even need the Finality. Oh, that's not true. Right, my Bloodborne spell isn't up. So, okay. We'll Finality anyways, and now this game is extra over, if it wasn't already almost there. Because now he doesn't even have enough mana to do any nonsense mantra plays. And if I do have an assassin quest, we'll make sure to get some extra progress. Oh, he's just gonna swing. Oh well, this is fine. Of course. Lose rank for winning. That's what I get for not playing for a couple days here. That's okay. I'm not too worried about it. Alright, well, let's just grab another one, since at the moment I don't have another Magmar deck in mind specifically that I want to mess with. I mean, I can always take a gander, see if there's anybody I'd wanted to mess with. Alright, Bath, that's still really the only deck I've posted just because I can't really think of much of a variant for him. I guess other than maybe an Apex deck. But it's hard to deviate from this and want to play Bath. Like, pretty much any variation I make of other than like this very similar deck to this always ends up, feeling more suited to Starhorn or Rag. But there are certainly others. Like, you can play Bath as an aggro general, because, just Bath smash aggressively, but I tend to find Starhorn tends to do better for aggro just because, the built-in Spelljammer type deal, plus, Desi spikes and whatnot. Bath loves long games, because the longer the game goes on, the more dangerous he gets, whereas aggro just wants to dump its hand early and try to win early. So it just... pretty much every deck always ends up looking like this, or very close to it for Bath. So that's why it's the only deck I have for him. I love Bath, but he really does have just one main type of deck here. Alright, let's see here. So, Argion is pretty good at plasma proofing, but sometimes plasma can be really important. But what's more important now is trying to find that early Finality. Don't really need the flash, especially since I've got ramp to start out. Alright. Argion is not usually an aggro deck, but his tempo variants can be very aggressive, so I may not replace this right away, but we'll see. No. He didn't have an opening play, so even if he is aggro, he's going to be moving a bit slow. I think we are going to go for early Metallurgist, because now if we do find one of those flashes, we have a nasty out-of-hand combo there, but for now, let's just go with a Metallurgist, which means I should be able to get out a Lava Lasher even if I don't have access to any globes. And if he clears the Metallurgist, well, that's probably means there's nothing on the field worth Lava Lashering anyways. Okay, Plasma Storm's never bad, but again, I'll play Argion over other generals specifically because of Plasma, so we'll see here. Okay, well, I'd considered playing the Metallurgist defensively, and perhaps I should have, but oh well. Alright. Now, yeah, next turn I'm going to lose the opportunity of Plasma that anyway, so let's just toss it away. Ooh, that's nice to see. Do I go for that, or do I just get my attack buffed up now? I think we just get my attack buffed up now. That way. That doesn't make a huge difference, actually, does it? That gives me the head start, but I still have a couple turns to play Abdicator. Let's see, because 6 mana is the last turn to actually play it. So I'm going to want to Slasher on 5, and then I may 6 mana Abdicator and Crypto. Yeah, that's probably the better deal. That gives me the extra chance to find that flash in case I instead want to go for an early Flash Drogon combo rather than the finality. So let's go ahead and Abdicator. And I don't think I'm going to do any attacking right now because Holy Immolation and the like, in fact that I'm still only at 2 attack is discouraging there. Still no real sign. Well, I mean, at this point we know it's probably either... Well, it really still could be either Tempo, Bond, or Titan. Like, he hasn't given us any obvious signs of any of those. Like, these are frequently run in all 3 of those. Okay, well that you don't usually see in Bond, so we are much more likely not facing a Bond list. Alright, well, with finality so close, I think we can live without the Earth Sphere. I hope I don't regret this, but I suppose I could just Earth Sphere rather than Slasher. That would ultimately gain me more health here, and I could save Slasher for a higher priority target. Well, actually, I suppose since I can't clear this and play Slasher, I am better off just doing the Earth Sphere. Just let's take no risks. And let's get our health topped off, so that feels like much less of a concern. Still potentially could be doing Drogon Finisher before finality, but yeah, alright, we played it fairly safe. Now, if it is Titan, the 7 mana finality almost certainly assures us victory at this point. If it's not Titan, well, my health, if it's an aggressive tempo list, it's not going to be able to burn through that Earth Sphere and this finality. Now, if it's a Bond list, that could still catch me here, because I have not been really holding on to or digging out my removal much. So, he sticks a big 10 health fatty, I could be in for a bad time. But it's sure not looking like a Bond list. My guess is it's probably Titan, but it's still hard to say. Alright, Bender. Bender means it's almost certainly a Titan list, because Bender, you don't usually see Bender in normal tempo line, or you see either Sunbloom or EMP, but Bender is almost entirely a Titan exclusive here, so Let's just set up our finality for next turn here. Oh, we do actually have that as another option, but finality's going to still be the better bet. So let's just clean this field up. Oh, he is potentially going to get that Titan, which will certainly make a difference, but I'm at least going to clear his field completely so that if he does just play a Titan this turn, that it won't actually do that much for him. I mean, the Titan, the effect, Titan coming down will still give him a good chance here. But finality definitely tilts it in my favor, especially since I have the Drogon in hand. But if he throws down a Titan and then follows up with a Provoke, I could be in trouble. Yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, it wouldn't be that unusual. Like I've run Bender in all lists off and on, depending on what the meta's like. So that's fair. I feel it is more commonly a Titan tool than it would be a tempo tool. It's certainly not out of reason. Okay, so funny thing about that, as much of a giant pain as Kanam Ka is, I tend to do pretty decent on that just by being able to keep the field clear. If he's playing obelisks, that's a pretty hard counter to that. Given this, yeah, I'm not saying the matchup's amazing. It can still be tough, but he really does need to pull off both the. He needs to pull off the entire fault fault caw thing to give me a bad time. And even then, usually my health is so topped off that I can handle it. Alright, but we're definitely going for finality now. And I suppose I may as well see if I can wound this enough into killing range here. No, not much sense in attacking it with the slasher as well, but we'll see what happens here. So his stun there will Alright, let's put the slasher here. That way if he wants to tie up the slasher with the provoke, he cannot also tie up that. And if he does make that mistake, then I can just win with Drogon here. I can even actually do the full Drogon flash combo since there's still a globe available. Right, anyways, back about the vet matchup. So, right, Kanam Ka Fault is pretty hard on the deck, but the deck is so good at keeping the field clear of dervishes, they're usually okay. And also the ability to sometimes finality before they get a fault off. If they don't have a ray and or I get some abjicators, I can get it off and just prevent fault entirely. But basically I do decently versus that matchup because, hold on. Let's see here. Well, looks like I may need to flash canter just to not risk not dying here, and thanks to that, Celebrate giving me... Oh, well, no, he has to die to the provoke anyways, which is unfortunate, but... Let's see. 5... Okay, he can't play Titan now, so at least that's out of the concern. Alright, well, yeah, let's get Cantor out. Get that work done. Do this, and then we can decide whether we want to go for his face or the Bender. Let's see here. Alright, Titan's not the concern, although I don't want him to be able to get his Bloodborne spell off on the vendor. So let's clear that, keep his field clear, because on an empty board, Vath will win. We've got another Earth Sphere. If we ever catch him without a provoke, then that will be able to end the game pretty quick here. Alright, so anyway, so the deck's just so good at keeping the field clear of dervishes, obelisks, and whatnot that you stand a pretty good chance. That matchup does come down to a bit of luck sometimes because it's really going to come down to do they get the perfect on-curve Ray Fault into call. If that happens, I probably lose. But if it doesn't, I usually win. So unfortunately that matchup is a little bit of a toss-up. But it is what it is. Aha. He has just given me the game by not establishing a body block. Given that would have been pretty hard for him to do. But let's see, he was right here. We were positioned in a way that unless he could play two things with 5 mana, he was going to be in for a bad time. Oh wait, no. Hold on, no, I'm still a little bit short here, aren't I? Because I spent my flash. Well, I suppose I could just hold off a bit longer there. I want to rebuke, because then I lose my ability to attack him. Oh, well, Crypto can go. Well, let's do the Drogon and sort of pray we don't die to that Dio there. I don't think he'll be able to clear that and kill me with Dio. But it's not impossible. I have put myself in a bit of a dangerous position here. Perhaps I should have just gone for an Earth Sphere or a Rebuke, but hard to say for sure. And it's still, he's playing a lot of the traditional Bond cards now, but the complete lack of spells still suggests it's likely Titan at this point. Now, that may not be the case. It very well could be Bond, and he just hasn't had the chance to play any spells. But, it's hard to say for sure here. Well, that Tombstone may be able to save his butt just with the Provoke, although he didn't. He got, like, the worst possible spawn there, unfortunately. Well, unless that's a Provoke. This is, well, he needs to play something here. That way, if I step where he's trying to play that, I will be provoked. Okay, well, he had a backup Provoke anyways. Now, am I going to get lucky enough and he's going to play into the Rebuke? If he does, well, then that will be game. But if he... And he's having to play a weird coin flip now of, do I play around Plasma or do I play around Rebuke? So he hasn't seen me play either. It was a bit of a toss-up. Well, he chose correctly. So it looks like instead we are just going to need to go ahead and Earth Sphere, top ourselves off, and hope that we find a Plasma here soon. I may just want to throw down this Crypto just to deny access to that globe, but I don't. It's going to be at 7 mana regardless, so if he's Titan, then I'm basically screwed anyways. And if he's not Titan, at this point I'd be surprised if he wasn't Titan. Let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And he still won't be able to kill me via Titan next turn, but I'm going to be pretty much find a Plasma Storm or die at this point. Now, the well-placed Lightbenders and the constant Provokes have definitely been doing their job. Alright, let's just... There's not much benefit in playing that right now, so I'll just hold off. Well, rebukes could, I guess 2 rebukes theoretically could clear a field of provoke, but fortunately oh no, yeah, I'm at 8 mana again, surprisingly. That is a rare occurrence of being in the position of getting to 8 mana twice in a game. Well, sure doesn't look like he has Titan, because if he did this turn, it would have been just a no doubt about it, slam it down and probably win. Titan is a traditionally bad matchup for Vath as well, which again was why I had those EMPs in the sideboard, but still don't think they're worth maining, because, basically a couple decks that are so hard on Vath that it would be worth to run EMP just aren't common enough for me to feel like it's worth it. Okay, he's not Titan. That's good. We are much better prepared to deal with Bond or Tempo. I mean, if it's Tempo, no, well, we've been dealing with that. But he has played an Iron Cliff and a Dio, so there is a pretty strong chance it's Bond. Oh, did he? He just missed lethal. He could have killed me there. Oops. Well, that's a shame. He missed his chance. He could have lived with 1 health. Looks like I'm just going to take the draw, because doing anything else is too risky. Oh. He could have had a draw. Strange. I guess he just feels dumb. It's still odd, but oh well. I hate to win like that. That's no fun. But no, just the lack of. I know. I think we had a Plasma in my opening hand. I was like, Argion usually plays around Plasma. Not once. He played around Rebuke the whole game, but never the Plasma. So it was a bit of an odd match all around. Alright, well, okay, so let's see. Was there any other Magmar decks in particular I really wanted to pull out? Maybe I could do another game with the latest Slow Furnace Starhorn deck variant. It is the newest thing, although we already designed and tested this on stream not too long ago, so maybe I should just finish off with my Vath deck, just highlighting its success in the Meltdown League. Went 3 for 3, and it tends to do pretty similar to that on the ladder. And it was indeed a Bond list. Alright, so here is the vet matchup. So, unfortunately, he's got player 2, and that is often actually the biggest deciding factor of this matchup. Of course, I'm always open to suggestions. Within reason. If I like the suggestion, I'll do it, and I like most of them. If I don't, then I do shameless self-plugs and tell people to subscribe if they want to see me do that. But most of the time, I'm pretty amenable to whatever you like. Alright, so Plasma Storm is very good and important in this matchup. Unfortunately, Finality could be hard on us, as he's got player 1. And, the big deal with this deck is if you get player 2, you can more often than not, get Finality off before Fault. But we will see what happens here. So, digging for opening play, digging for Abjugators. Yeah, it's too many Finalities. I'm sure I can arrange that for you. In fact, I think all of my published, I don't actually have Arcanists published on my master thread right now, so we can, no, of course not, actually. One of my S-rank lists is my Walkara. Like, my Vesper Walkara is my, go-to S-rank list of the season, so I can certainly pull that out shortly here. Just want to wrap up my Magmar Quest, and then I can get to that. Alright, so unfortunately, he has player 2, and we have a slow start. So that's... Oh, interesting. It's Wanderer, actually. We are much better prepared for Wanderer than we are Fault Bet. So that's actually really good for us. Now, the highest priority for us is finding Rebuke and, of course, the Accelerated Finalities. Again, having player 2 gives him a big advantage, but we are much more... We are the favored deck in this matchup, whereas if it was Ray Fault, they're a little bit more favored than us, especially if they get player 2. Alright, so thank God it at least wasn't the Call Fault list, which, again, we're decent against, but it is not favored. Ooh, Pax? Shaman? Right, it's a... Alright, well, we'll have Plasma Storm soon enough here. Alright, well, we don't need this Metallurgist. Oh, good deal. So we'll be able to clear out his field and have a Rebuke for the Wanderer turn as well. So let's go ahead and just contest both of these globes, giving us a fairly decent chance of getting an early Plasma off. And again, if we don't, who cares? There's little sense in me attacking that with my face, because A, that'll let him get the buff immediately. B, if I'm planning to Plasma it, then I'm not too worried. Alright, well, he may get both of our globes, and that'll be a little unfortunate, but if he moves forward too like that, that's a pretty good sign for us. Although he may be, ready to Sand Swirl or Blood of Air that, so that will be less fortunate than we'd hoped, but alright, so he managed to deny both globes from us, so that was good on his part. We're really going to need pretty much all this in a moment here. I could blow a Rebuke this turn, just to preserve my health some... oh, definitely not. Alright, let's see here. So Rebuke would let me occupy the tile, which probably won't make a huge difference since, well, I'm going to be Plasmaing soon. Although now that he's gained access to this globe, the Wanderer, this will do more damage. No, that's too much for me to trade into my face. So let's go ahead and clear what we can right now. And just block the tile, contest the globe. He'll get out his early Wanderer, which is going to suck for us. Just, this, again, getting player 2's the biggest deciding factor in this matchup. I think we want everything else, the Plasma will have lost a touch of value the moment Wanderer goes down, but still going to probably be good. I do need to actually be aggressive, weirdly enough. Not a decision I'd normally make. I usually don't attack face with Vath unless I have at least 3, but I need to be, in the long run. No, that was probably a mistake. Surviving to finality is usually all I need in this matchup. Of course, that's often easier said than done. So yeah, there's the expected Wanderer, so now we can do Rebuke, Bloodburn spell, and finish off the Shaman where it can't get any value. So again, I think we're ultimately happy with our hand here. Let's stick to that plan. Clean up nicely here. Now we do our best to bide our time. You know, if we get lucky and top deck into a crypto, we can just, you know, win next turn. Well, not next turn. We'd be one off of lethal next turn, but unless he, you know, attacked our space ourselves. But you know, we have a plasma, we have a canter. We'll likely be able to clear the field again. Okay. All right. So we have a. Yeah, we're probably all right here. Primus. Yes, Primus. Primus after Wanderer is just math. Is just Magmar proof, which is a beautiful thing. Let's see here. I could, and it's a bit desperate, but I could flash canter and nat select to clear the field. I'm still hesitant to replace this plasma, but let's hold on to it. Alright, so a little bit of a desperate moment. Or alternatively, I suppose I could just Drogon to clear that, but that is a lot of damage coming at my face. So let's just dump our hand and resort to some fairly desperate measures here. Because we're just trying to survive for 2 more turns. And then we can probably win with that kit. So hopefully we can plasma everything he puts down this turn. Hopefully. And if we can't, well, we'll see what happens here. Oh, well, I got the fault. Hopefully he doesn't also have a 1-drop. That'd be unfortunate. But Plasma Storm Ho will likely be important shortly here. Although luckily he wasn't able to proc it this turn, so that's a big deal. Let's see. I don't want to replace the binder because it's my ideal playwright this turn. But at the same time, I'd like to find a Lava Slasher or something. Unless he's also got Khanum Ka. We're probably, if he has Khanum Ka next turn, we're just dead, unfortunately, because, I mean, actually, right, no, Khanum Ka can't do its trick, because it's going to be at 4, so, odd choice to make here. Do I use my overload and put myself at risk of dying to Ka? And this is these kind of situations that I really am always talking about when I rag on Wanderer so much, because it always feels like a bit of a crapshoot and a gamble with the deck. You know, were this not Wanderer, I would be like, well, I guess that's not fair. If this weren't Wanderer, I'd already be in the lethal zone. But you know what? We'll just have to take that gamble. And if he also has Khanum Ka in hand, I guess we're just gonna hate life. We'll just toss the Rage Binder out just because why not here? And, you know, next turn we've got Plasma or Finality, depending on how this goes here. Alright, that's, well, no, kind of, oh. Well, of course. Was it worth the risk? Probably not, but, you know, we're almost... Well, here, let's just go ahead and do the math ourselves. I probably should have done the math before making the decision. But I was like, it's Wanderer. Chances of him having both Ka and Fault in succession were pretty unlikely. So, right, so 38 card deck for him. Let's see, it was 2 card. 2 and 2. Alright, so to find that 2-card combination being pretty much the Only thing I could really thought of that was going to save him from my finality Drogon there, it would have on average taken him for him to more likely have it than not. It would have at least taken him to go through about 28 cards on average, meaning that is a lot of turns. And that's still only like 50-50 for him. I'm just right where it is more likely for him to have it than not. That was a, let's see. So that's your opening hand. That's your replaces. Replace counts as roughly half a card, which is generous for him in this case. So that is 3 mana. This is 4 mana, 6 mana, 7 mana, 8 mana, 9 mana, 10 mana. Alright, so we're talking a couple turns past 9. Yeah, we're talking where, let's see, he had just reached 8 mana, so we are talking, okay, so yeah, we're talking 10-15% chance of that working out for Wanderer like that. And I can't think of another combination that would have allowed him to beat the hand I have. So yeah, no, we are talking about a 10-15% fringe case scenario of Wanderer just getting lucky like Wanderer does. And everybody's always on top of me as saying, you're being, well, it doesn't count replaces, but what you can do is, so you count replace as roughly half a card, and you just sort of count here. So, for example, this is your opening hand. You get two free replaces at the start of your hand, so that the math roughly works out to 6. It gets a little bit less accurate the longer the game goes on, but it's really accurate up until around here if you do the math by hand quickly. It starts losing accuracy because replaces start becoming less valuable the later it goes here, because we're treating them like cards drawn, and deck thinning is more important than, well, regardless, my point is, for him to have more likely had it than not, we should have been multiple turns past 9 mana, and so what you can do is you roughly treat replaces half cards. So this would be his turn 1 right here, and for him that was 3 mana. So then you can do, you draw a card at the end of your turn, and you replace over the course of 2 turns. That roughly equals out to going through 3 cards there. So you can just sort of eyeball it like that. So this is 4 mana, this is 6 mana, and you can just sort of quickly eyeball it like that. You can crunch the numbers a little bit more thoroughly and pencil in the replaces yourself after hand, but no, it looks like I made the right choice. From a statistical perspective, I had a 90% chance of that working out for me, and unfortunately it just didn't. Yeah, I was looking at 87% chance of that working out for me, and it just didn't. And that's pretty much every game I lose to Wanderer is due to some, tiny chance like that, compared to a normal deck, where the chances of those things happening are usually, way more likely than not. Like in a normal deck where, let's just do that real quick. So if that wasn't Wanderer, you have, so 3 target cards, or you have 2 target cards, and you have 6 copies. Let's see, by the point in the game, okay. No. Okay, no, that's wrong. Alright. Desired number of copies is 2. There were 6 target cards, and we needed 2. There we go. Okay. Screwed that up slightly bit. Alright, there we go. Alright, so for that to not be Wanderer, let's see, so this would be turn 1, so 4 mana, 5 mana, 7 or 6, 8 mana. Yeah, so were this not to be a Wanderer deck here, for this to not have been a Wanderer deck here, if that wasn't a Wanderer deck, he would have had an 86% chance for that to work out, and I would have been able to calculate that, and, if this wasn't Wanderer, I should have been dead. Because that was Wanderer, instead of that, it was almost completely reversed there. So, I mean, I'm sorry, I'm still really fed up for it from, this Wanderer, because there's been some debating and whatnot going on Reddit, and, like, I can quantitatively prove that Wanderer often gets lucky and requires more luck than most decks. I can show the statistics, and I can quantitatively prove that Wanderer is a high variance deck, yet people are saying that I'm just, like, lying and spreading false information when just Wanderer is a high variance deck. Wanderer itself is consistent because Wanderer carries the deck, and Duelist has some high quality cards. It's just, but as you can see here, the math works out to, because it was Wanderer, he had a 10% chance of victory. Had that not been Wanderer, it would have been like an 86% chance of victory. And it's very frustrating. Anyway, alright, so what did Terrarius ask? That thing is wrong. It doesn't take the 50% chance for everything goof into account that one. Oh, okay, you're talking about the secret buff that Wanderer has. No, there's no secret buff. It is just a bit of confirmation bias there. He did legitimately have 10% chance of around 10%. I don't remember the exact number now, but he did have a 10% chance of getting that. But 10% chance does just happen. It does. Like, it's unfortunate, but it does just happen. That's how statistics work. 10% of the time that does happen. The thing is, that's my issue with the deck. I tend to only lose to Wanderer in those situations where they had a 10% chance of victory. And when they don't get lucky like that, I usually mop the floor with them. And that's that type of high variance frustration that I'm talking about, that I keep trying to explain to people that, hey, Wanderer, it's a very high variance sort of RNG based deck, and it's overpowered, so it really needs to be changed. Anyway, so sorry to get sidetracked there. And then somebody also mentioned, I don't believe that you actually run statistics on things. And I'm like, I do that all the time, man. I do it on stream sometimes, but it's just frustrating. Like, if Wanderer wasn't already frustrating enough, now people are. It was one thing having a friendly debate. It's one thing to have a friendly debate and say, the variance isn't that big a deal, and I'm, overselling the variance. That's one thing. It's another thing to call someone a liar when it just you both have opinions about a deck, whether a deck is healthy or not. But I wasn't spreading misinformation. I was just sharing the information that I had, and then of course I'm a little biased and am selling it as a very unhealthy factor, because I believe that is the fact. It is up for a debate whether it's really unhealthy or not, but I think you can quantitatively show how much high variance there is for a Wanderer. Yes, any deck can get lucky, but we're talking about situations where one deck has an 80% chance of lucking into what it needs rather than 10% chance. And it's just, Wanderer is really unhealthy for the game, in my opinion. I think this is my last game with Magmar, so then we can do some Vanar or what else we want. And as for Songhai, I really dislike Songhai, so I tend to only play them if I have a quest or it's a subscriber request. I can get behind playing pretty much anyone else, But unless I can wiggle a subscribe off of you, I'm probably not playing Songpack tonight. Anyway, so we're player 2. That's good for us. We even have Abdicator Finality extra good. Plasma's good in this matchup. What we probably don't need is this certainly. And the other nice thing about this matchup is, Vath Ripper-proofs himself with his Bloodborne. So now we're just looking... Well, actually, I may yet want that Drogon, because that's going to pair with the Finality here. Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, I sometimes have some strong opinions and whatnot. Like, again, you know, my opinion is that Wanderer is unhealthy. That is an opinion. Now, what is not an opinion, what is fact, is that Wanderer has a lot of high variance stuff to it. Like, that's just fact. Like, that, that isn't spreading misinformation. That's just truth. That is quantitatively provable, and in my opinion, the amount of variance is very unhealthy. Now, yes, and so here's the thing that everybody loves to take out of context about what I say about that old Finality meta was. I said, yes, Finality is absolutely overpowered and low skill. Whereas in this case, for Wanderer, I've been saying, no, Wanderer is high skill, but I do think it is unhealthy and overpowered. Whereas Finality, I was like, no, it is overpowered, it is low skill, but I'm not convinced it's unhealthy for the game. Well, it is clearly overpowered. It's predictable. There's a lot of very clear counterplay for it. The counterplay is very clear. So if you teched to beat Finality Vath, you did well. If you played things, with the 4 or more attack and more health than attack, you plasma proofed against the majority of their removal. If you and then anyway, so my point being, Finality was absolutely overpowered, low skilled, meta warping, and on top of the thing. And pretty much every time I talked about Finality, that was the first thing I admitted. Now, the other side to that was I didn't mind it so much because A, I could tech to beat it and not have a problem, and B, I liked the direction it pushed the game in. The type of decks that were coming around that you used to beat Finality were these really cool, consistent mid-range decks that were a lot of fun, and as long as you teched to beat Vath, you could pretty much do whatever you wanted. So what I really liked about Finality is that it pushed stuff out. The 7-mana Finality is, stuff like Wanderer, stuff like Titan, stuff like, 8 Gates and Mantra. That stuff's just sort of disappeared because it was really bad against Finality. And funny enough, basically, the decks that I thought were more unhealthy than Finality were all the ones that went away when Finality came around. So, as well, the card absolutely deserved the nerf it got, but I said, I did not mind that meta, and I liked the direction Finality pushed the game in, and I felt people were just, not wanting to adapt. Hold on, I need to take my turn here. Alright, let's do it this way. Let's put this Drogon really, really far back here, out of reach of Lava Lasher and the like, and then... And that's fair. That's absolutely a fair opinion to have, and, that's a good point. And, I can concede you. I'm not saying... I never said that, Finality was a fair and healthy card. I will be the first to admit that it absolutely wasn't. But what I'm saying is I didn't mind it because there were a lot of things I did like about it. And I thought it was a lot healthier than metas like Wanderer or Spell High related metas. Was it the best? Absolutely not. But no, and that's the thing, and you can completely disagree with me there. That's fair. That's fine. That's okay. And, again, yes, I know I'm of the unpopular opinion that, the finality meta wasn't terrible. It wasn't amazing. I did like the direction the game was going in, because I liked the decks that were around, and I didn't have a problem beating finality. And, it never felt like it really came down to luck most of the time. But, metas where the board is ignored or there's extreme variance in luck, those are the ones that I find much more unhealthy. So, it's my 2 bits there. And again, I don't know why that's even worth bringing up. Like, we can disagree about something completely unrelated, and that's fine. That doesn't change. That has very little bearing on what we're currently talking about. And again, I don't disagree with you there. That's fine. But Wanderer is overpowered, and everyone seems to understand that. But I have much more of an issue with unhealthy than I do overpowered, and they're not mutually exclusive. Because, something can be overpowered and not necessarily be unhealthy. But in this case, it's both. But I think it's unhealthy because of the swingy variance involved, not just because of the overpowered aspect. Alright, well, early finality will do the trick here. And it'll even let me clear that Wanderer right off here. And that's probably... Well, okay, I can't actually play the Mecanter, but more than likely he may be able to clear the Drogon or put down a Provoke. But with 3 mana, he's probably boned short of, like a Nat Select here. Which deck do you think was the worst that ever became meta? Alright, so my top 3 most hated decks were the Spell High October Riva. That was a dark time, so that was the worst. Followed by, just because not only was it a deck that did its best to not play Duelist, completely ignore the board, and just burn the opponent's face down as fast as possible, and was, unequivocally the best deck around, it was awful. That was just worst meta and deck in all time. And then where there was after that, it was the Meltdown era, which I find very similar to this one. Meltdown was turning games into a coin flip based on its complete RNG effect, and that felt really bad. Now, other than Meltdown, everything about that format was actually great. We had board-based, slower decks that were really about a lot of skill early on. Everything other than Meltdown about that era was great. I should not have placed that there because of his Rage Reactor, but oh well. Anyways, right, so we had October Riva being the worst, followed by pre-nerf Meltdown, because there was just a lot of the final turns in the game came down to an unfortunate coin flip. Oh, that's unfortunate and very sad to hear, Monty Blake. It's also very extreme. Right, so, but, despite that I liked the meta itself, Meltdown was just a real game killer for everyone. So it was October Riva, followed by Meltdown, and then after that, I probably, Wanderer, because, well, it wasn't quite the straight-up coin flips as it was Meltdown, where it was, constant 50-50s. What we're running into is just a deck that's, a constant, constant issue with high variance. All right, let's see here. And then after that, then I would just put, any of the 8 gates mantra metas where they were a bit more prominent, or any of the any of the 8 gates mantras, or the 8 gate mantra Desi spikes, or of course the aforementioned Mimvor. These all sort of just fall into my bottom category. We have 3 just absolute nightmare metas, and then we have a few that were shorter, didn't last too long, where those were like more towards the top for decks, mixed with, or the Mimvor interaction, Mimvor Decimus. Although, again, similar to Finality, I didn't take... Well, the Mimvor Decimus thing was absolutely broken and an issue for a different reason than Finality. Again, the reason why I never said this is healthy and good for the game. I'm saying that was not, the worst. Like, I still think it was better than Wanderer, or better than, Meltdown, or better than October Riva, because there was counterplay. It was a bit of a slow deck that sacrificed a lot for its setup, and that as if you kept a couple bodies, it only took like 1 or 2 bodies on board with good positioning to prevent the combo from being viable. There was clear counterplay, so I didn't take the issue with it like I do Wanderer, Meltdown, Mantra 8 Gates. But no, by no means was it a good thing. It was absolutely good that it got fixed. So it's just, people like to throw out these weird quotes about me supporting 7-mana Finality, or supporting Decivore, and they're taking things wildly out of context. I usually agree, yeah, they're not great, but they're not that bad either, because here's how you deal with them. Well, that to get is certainly a concern with my current setup. I don't know if I've made a big mistake somewhere along the lines here, or what, because I've been too busy chatting, but either way, he's doing a pretty good job here, and it hasn't even been particularly lucky for him. He may actually beat me fairly here, and not unusual. Alright, so that's gonna hurt. She just kills me if she hits me. Nice. Fancy. Huh. Meaning, let's see, I have to... I can't really... Okay, there is a way I can avoid it, or I can... Let's see, so 13, 17... I guess I lived through that, barely. Oh boy. Well, here's a desperate act, alright. And so Wall Wanderer, is a board-based deck with a high skill cap, and quite a few good things about it. It is overpowered because on the low rolls, where he didn't do anything exceptional this game, he just played pretty average minions, a few good ones, a few less good ones, and just it was a pretty fair game, but even on, the Wanderer low rolls like that, Wanderer is so strong, it's also a problem there. But that's not where I have the issue, although, it probably does deserve its nerf. What is more of the issue is the high variance matches, because you've seen just a couple examples tonight where I showed how unlikely it was for them to be able to get out of their situations, and yet they did it, compared to what it's like playing versus the standard deck. It's the 70% difference. And that's where I have the issue, because, that match, that was fine. He beat me fair and square because Wanderer is strong enough, combined with his Bloodborne spell and, that fancy, not often used Togetti. He just outvalued me because of how strong Wanderer is, and, that I don't mind too much, but certainly not a fan. Because, there's another thing, like, Togetti very rarely sees play, and, he only had one Togetti in his deck, where if it wasn't Wanderer, then, we would have been able to Plasma Storm it. I would have been able to Plasma Storm it, but, or Mecanter it. Oh, that's weird, I got an Abyss. Well, that's fine. I can worry about that later. We'll play some Vanar regardless here. Alright, let's see here. Let's see. E.T. Wall Vesper. That's what I'm looking for. So we'll pull her out, have some fun with that. Alright, so let's see here. Alright, so it's a little early for Embala. I do have 3 copies of... Well, have a good night. Thanks for stopping by, man. Alright, Winter's Wake I'm hesitant to replace, but I may... I've got ramp. Okay, I can... Yeah, let's replace the aspect. So right now I just want to find more Vespers or more ramp. Well, I wouldn't... It's been a while since I've played, but I'm pretty sure I don't usually keep these 8 mana guys this early. But we are player 2. We do have a ramp in hand, and they are pretty nice together. And with the matchup we're against, I'm going to see if I want to. I'm going to hold on to them and hope that's the right call here. Okay, double ramp, good deal. Alright, so let's globe contest. And that will get us going, and we'll turn to Wisp, and it looks like we'll be getting to these pretty quick here. Alright, so let's focus in on the ramp plan here. We'll play a defensive Wisp here. Oh yeah. Azarian's come a long way. She used to be bottom tier, but, with the works of folks like Pow and the Kissa and Kyrian, she went from meh to, oh my, she is scary. Well, she did kill the Wisp here. Well, it's not looking like I'm going to get a great opportunity for Snow Chaser, so let's go ahead and toss him. And then let's get this Wisp nice and defensive here. And right now we're just biding time to try and find either, if we find either a Wintertide or a Bone Shell, we can really mess up his field, especially now that we have the mana for it. And if we can't, we just got to hold out for just a couple turns before we can start doing wool shenanigans here. Oh, there's that win. Oh, there's both of them. All right, so we could really do a number on his field here, even if he does clear Wisp. And that will clean field up nice and let us transition. Oh, she did clear Wisp, which slows us down a bit, but I suspect. Alright, let's come down here. I shouldn't have moved first. Let's get the elemental out. And then let's see what these accomplish. Well, actually, no, let's do it this way, because just in case I can't clear both of these, we want to make sure Bone Shell's safe. So let's make sure he is nice and safe here. Okay, so yes, I have to choose between them. I'm going to clear the Jammer just because I don't want that sticking around for Xeran, and I may as well throw out this Kinetic as well. And if I'm extra lucky, Elemental will live through the turn. At this point, I can probably toss the Wisp, although it is always nice to have it to mess up her mana still. At this point, I'm going to be needing to focus more on clearing his field, and because it's not going to help me get to these. Well, it's unfortunate. Let's toss that away for now and just do what we're doing. We've got, if he does not clear that Elemental this turn, he is in for a really bad time here. And that's, this is pretty much Glacial Elemental that's really helped fold this into a proper S-rank list. Excuse me. Okay, well, she may get lucky with that build Vitriol. No. Thank you. She's got at least 2 shots here to try and get it, but I've got quite a few bodies out here, so. Oh, well, Lucid Beam, that'll do the trick. That'll definitely keep me from blowing up her field again, but hey, at least she had to spend her field to do that. I can just throw out some more bodies anyways, and we will very shortly be transitioning to scary game-ending stuff. Alright, well, I certainly don't need a couple of these shippers, so let's toss one of those. Awkward. Alright, that's done. Alright, so let's clear this, because we don't want that getting an opportunity to be useful here. That's stunned because it attacked a wall. Let's... Alright, so let's get these folks out, just get bodies on the field. Let's get her flying down, where I'm also in the range to get Infiltrate on Snow Chaser. Given, Snow Chaser's, it's going to be pretty hard pressed to get his effect, I may as well. Now, I could have used him as an additional body block or whatnot, but, this gives me the option to just sort of run over that side. Plus, since I'm about to start going into late game overdrive here, I'll have the time likely to be over there. Plus, Vitriol alone gives me reason to plop Snow Chaser there. Well, so that's the thing though. Right now, I don't care about any of these surviving. I just want to keep damage off my face for another turn or two here. Plus, again, that Snow Chaser, because I set up its Infiltrate, so not only would he be doing me the favor of not hitting my face, I'd also get that Snow Chaser back in my hand and actually get use out of its infiltrating nose. That I would have been fine with. Now, unless he's rocking EMP. Okay, but he is doing his best to at least control the walls there. So let's move ourselves over this way. Clear this. And let's clear this out with the guys that'll survive a touch there. Let's use the shivers to clear that off, and now we'll get the majority of Grandmaster's effect here. And unless he's got an EMP, which is pretty unlikely for a Vitriol Lancer based deck, well, that's probably it for him, although at this point Snow Chaser can go. Yeah, short of a well-timed, weirdly placed, of course if he does play EMP, ultimately that's still going to screw him up a bit, because I can deal with that. Alright, so pretty solid, got to 8 mana with help of ramp. We've just been using, the deck's inherent Vesper synergy to hold them off, keep his field clear, put out some threats to give us stalling time. And now we're in the position of, unless you've got EMP, this is probably over. And the fact that he just attacked a Luminous Charge means we are probably in the clear here. Well, Sunriser will make a big difference. He has cleared a lot of the walls. I don't think he's going to have done enough, though. Well, he did clear most of them, but that's enough still on the field to do what I need to do here. We'll see. I mean, depends on what happens, but I will take 3 wolves. Alright, I don't really need... Well, no, I'd rather the Tide than the Bone Chill, since I can't Bone Chill. Okay, well, let's go Winter's Wake. Alright, well, Winter's Wake it is, because can't go wrong with that. Alright, is that just game on board? 7, well, 9, 10, 11, 18. No, okay, I've only got 18 on board, but that's alright. So let's... just clean up his field real nice here. Limit his... Oh wait, there's no reason to play it. Well, there's no reason not to play it. Pop down here, get some damage in, and we will... 12 health is probably enough to get us to live through the turn. But we'll see. Yep. He's taking his time. He may have... Let's see, what could CD get to get out of this? Holy Immolation play would clear the majority of that. If he could, if he could Blood Tier this Blazing Spines and then Holy Immolate the Blood Tier, that would get him out. It wouldn't kill me, but it would get him out of the situation. Empyreans would do the trick. Although at this point, I will likely be able to throw out a second Imbala or just some more walls. I didn't see a Luminous that entire game. But no, he was pretty hard-pressed to get out of that. Although with 7 mana, let's see, if he played 3 Flame Bloods, no, his health wasn't high enough to kill me with Flame Bloods. He could only play 2 Flame Bloods, so 6 from Flame Bloods, or 1 Flame Blood, a Holy Immolation. Nah, I just don't see him being able to kill me. Oh, well, let's grab another one, because I'm rather fond of the deck, and I've got a few other non-Fey decks as well. I've got the non-Vesper variant, which I do favor my S rank for my Vesper variant. Just Bone Chill Barrier just does so much work. Plus, or Bone Chill Elemental does so much work, and then Bone Chill is just awfully nice to have with a Wake deck. Plus, Shivers is more useful when combined with Elemental as well. It's got a little bit more ramp, but the non-Vesper variant does have its own appeal. It's got the Aspect Shimzer combo. It's got that's mostly it. It's mostly it has Aspect Shimzer making a big difference for it, but frankly, I tend to prefer my Elemental shenanigans nowadays. Alright, Wisps are always good, given Songhai's good at answering them, but they are never bad. Alright, let's see. It's a bit early for... This is tough. We don't know what we're up against now. If it's Wanderer, we'll probably want that Cryo. Alright, it really is too early for Grandmaster. And I'd really like to play both of those Wisps. And I can live without the Cryo, since I really want to be playing Wisp and not Cryo. So, alright, there we go. Now we've got an opening play, which we can follow up with Wisps. And, of course, now with this much ramp, I'm probably going to regret replacing my Grandmaster, but that is, alright, Crescent Spear, so that narrows down what we're fighting a little bit here. Unfortunate, but, alright, so we can open with... Boy, we are just going really wild on the ramp this game. So, hopefully we'll actually, find our Grandmasters in Winter's Wake soon enough here, but we'll see. 3 cards and constantly replacing them, pretty likely to get there. I can do the math, if need be. Alright, let's see here. Chase, I think. Okay, so Rakdopa and Spear together very highly suggest that this is more than likely just an 8 gates frustration, but it is what it is. So let's get Wisp number 1 out. Let's throw down Snow Chaser defensively. And while you usually want to trade your Wisp in, and plus I'd like to start breaking that Crescent Spear. If I trade in that Wisp, he can bring Rock up here to trade in the Chaser, and he'll be able to kill my Hate Wisp. That we want to avoid, because keeping his mana down is going to be pretty important. This isn't a great matchup for us since we are a tiny bit slow, and at this point we really... No, I may need that just to slow him down. I really need to be finding bigger walls here. Phoenix Fire, the Thunder Bomb. Solid. Got really high value Thunder Bomb thanks to Crescent Sphere. Right, that's another thing that I dislike about Wanderer is the only thing I currently dislike more than Wanderer is, dedicated burn decks, and Wanderer has had this unfortunate habit of encouraging those. Alright, well, looks like we're just gonna continue the Wisp Abuse. And Wisp Snow Chaser. Call that good. This will be a pretty... Although I really want to... I probably should have instead gone for like the Gravity Bone Shell combo, but I'm concerned about, a random Ghost Lightning showing up. And really, I want to play the Wisps primarily just to mess with her mana. Now the question is, do I want to Kinetic Surge now, though? Because he's got Spear, the 1 health difference probably won't make a difference on the Wisp. And I really want to save that to go with my walls here. Now, we're running out of card advantage. I mean, given Snow Chaser can go a long ways there. But, we haven't been able to stumble across either a Luminous, or Luminous is the deck's favorite card, Zakara's favorite card in general, or, our Grand Master yet. And we've been digging pretty hard. We've got the mana we need. So, I think we're going to hold off on that, because I don't think that'll make a difference between Wisp surviving or not. Certainly won't make a difference between Chaser surviving or not. And we'll hold off on that to mix with our walls next turn. Oh, third Wisp. I mean, just for messing with his mana at this point will likely be worthwhile. Wisp, Gravity, is that a second Thunder Bomb? Only fair, considering how many Wisps I'm getting. But, yeah, we should have a nice Wisp Gravity play here. Let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think at this point I'm going to replace the Barrier. As well, good. We haven't seen an Elemental. He's going to play very few creatures. And we really need to be... It's not what we want to see, but this is fine. Alright, so 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep, alright, so put the Wisp in his face. Get the Gravity Wells down. Lock him down real nice. Get that buff up. And, pray we start finding our Grandmasters and our Winter's Wake soon here, which I can. Let's find out how likely it is for us to... Oops, that is not my stream. This is my stream. Okay, yeah, in my turn, sorry. There we go. At least we got a Luminous. That's a pretty big deal for us. Let's see, but the chances of finding Grandmaster is the main thing we've been looking for. 39 card deck. Desired copies, 3. Desired numbers, 1. Probably. It's not mattering too much because it's not really affecting my decisions. If he was going to also take a long turn, I was going to go ahead and see what the likelihoods were. Oh, Panda. Fancy. Did he Gotatsu his Panda? Yeah, he did, which hurt it extra because of his own spear there. Looks like... I can also use Pando against him thanks to Luminous here. Alright, let's see. Shivers is going to do absolutely nothing for us. And Grandmaster. Alright, do I push damage while the Pando is here? Or do I do some very rude Luminous abuse? Nah, I think we... Let's clear here. Nope, I'll give him the mana back. I guess we'll just pull the wisp off. Alright, break that the rest of the way. Now, do I hit the Pando now? Putting me... Alright, I don't think he has enough. I think it's a little risk... No, it's less risk. It's more risky to leave it alive. So now we toss this here. Do the kinetic, and even if we don't find ourselves a Winter's Wake, that may be enough on its own. Given our health's a bit low, unfortunately. But we've kept his mana down. Uh-oh, that's not a good sign. At 6 mana with no abdicate. Oh, but he had a Rock Dopa. Oh well. Well, it looks like maybe attacking the Pando was a mistake. I guess that, because I may have been alive with 1 health there if I didn't attack the Pando. Unfortunate. Well, 8 gates is never fun. Probably the only thing that frustrates me more than Wanderer. Alright, last game with Van. I just hate to end on a loss there, especially an unfortunate one like that. You know, some losses are almost fun. They're good for a laugh, but you know, some are less so. Alright, let's see here. Luminous is our favorite card in the deck. Don't really need this Wintertide. That's a fun opening play, but it's a shame to replace Luminous, but I really want to be digging out a Glacial Elemental, because that's going to be pretty important in helping us clear the eggs. Yeah, really we want to find Glacial Elemental, Ramp, Gravity Wells, just stuff we need more than that. Alright, so it is not... Well, probably worthwhile to go for the Shivers. It's just very tempting to just start right off into the Snow Chasers, but you know, I don't need to rush into that. Let's go ahead. There's nothing you can do to play around 8 gates other than, you know, run healing and, you know, be careful with your general's health, but you know, that's why I just like it. There's no real counterplay, and it's just if they draw well, they win. If they don't, they lose type deck. Now, that being said, it's another one of those decks that does have a fairly high skill cap. You know, there's a lot of finesse into piling one of those, but you know, a deck that requires skill to use is not really a factor in whether it's healthy or not. The easiest deck in the world could be healthy. The hardest deck in the world could be toxic. All right, well, let's go for the ramp. I'm gonna toss one of the chasers. Okay, yeah, let's go for just set up a defensive ramp, and then we'll go there. So the only card that is, you know, comes close to real counterplay is like Magesworn, but you know, they happen to have all the transforms like OBS and Painter and whatnot that get rid of Magesworn. Plus, Magesworn's usually pretty counterproductive to a lot of your own decks, and there's just, unfortunately, there really isn't much counterplay to that. It's the main reason why I tend to pack a good amount of healing in most of my decks, and you try and basically all you can do is, you know, basic fundamental positioning, you know, apply pressure, tech healing if you can, and hope they don't draw well. Alright, lost the ramp. It's a little unfortunate. I'm going to toss the Embala or Grandmaster because it can probably make enough walls to make good on its own. Right now, I really want to be setting that up. Alright, so let's just throw Snow Chasers out. Black something better to do. They test the globe here. I'm not going to trade face. There's little benefit in me doing so. Just going to hang tight there. Hopefully we find an elemental or some ramp. Or ideally, maybe get it out an early luminous. We'll see what happens here. Elemental's really what we need in this matchup. Well, Gravity Wells go a pretty long way too. I could throw out a Luminous just for... Shivers may be good at taking out an egg here, and I can play it defensively. If we do find an elemental, we're going to want that Bone Shell. Yes, unfortunately, it feels bad, but, because I'm about to start running away from that side. Alright, well, it's unfortunate. Alright, so I think really our only good bet here is, let's see, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's our best bet. Alright, so go ahead, trade it in, throw it back down, run away a bit here. Okay, it's not the Mecanter turn. And as long as we're out of reach of celerity, we're good. So let's come here where we're... Actually, just right here would deny the globe the most, but nah. Let's just pop down here, get the Shivers down. That'll be out of reach of a Chrysalis. He'll need a Lava Slasher or something along those lines in order to pop the Shivers. And, if he does, oh well. It's been a bit of a slow hand for us. We've got the Shivers, but they've been getting answered. That's fine. You sort of expect that. Just, if your opponent's taking their time out of their turn to answer Shivers, that's also buying you time. Rather than speeding up your clock, it's slowing their clock down. So, Shivers tends to do its job regardless. And I can still just use walls as actual, walls here to defend myself. I don't have to, use them as giant fancy combos. If I just start throwing them down the next couple turns, that will likely be all I need to do. But at this point, Snow Chaser's lost most of its value, and my hand's also been full. So I think, do I go for the ramp? Or I just throw out a Luminous? Let's see, we really want to start... Yeah, I think my best plan here is just start putting out walls and ramp as much as we can. Let's see, I guess we can use this just as an obnoxious stun factor here. We'll also toss the Wisp up. No, over here a little bit closer. Close enough that it can trade. Far enough that if he trades into it, I will clear an egg. So that will, next turn we can drop a Luminous and Bloodborne Spell, and then we hope Wisp will be dead and we can transition into Wake with a few walls on the field. Nobody wants to attack Luminous Charges, so that's always nice. Alright, Stun Ripper, that's something here. It's locking down its field, it's doing its job, just freezing people. It's going to do the ramp for me, which I will appreciate. Oh, Rage Reactor, that's a A little obnoxious, but that's fine. Alright, let's see. That's so that but now that changes things. You know, that's brutal and gonna be a bit hard for me to recover from, but you know, we'll do what we can. I may have to throw that snow chaser down. Anyways, again, if we do find an elemental, we're gonna need that. So no. Snow chaser, goodbye. Oh, hello. That could. Well, I really do want to be getting walls out, but I'm getting some walls out this way. Not a lot, but hopefully enough. Alright, so let's play the elemental nice and safe. Well, somewhat safe. And then let's do that. Defend ourselves a bit here. And hope that clears out some eggs for us. Well, that was unfortunate. Guess that egg's gonna live. But, you know, we've put some threats out. His field's still mostly stunned. He's gonna have a pretty tough time actually killing the elemental, given we don't actually have any more Vespers, but he doesn't know that. And, you know, if he doesn't clear our walls, then Winter's Wake's gonna be a bad time. We'll see. A good chance I can replace some more Vespers, but, you know, that Zoetic Charm is definitely pretty brutal. And them having 1 health means it's, well, I guess it's pretty similar for the Rippers. They either get stunned or turn into an egg, but now hopefully I can replace into either a 2-drop or some more Vespers. Ideally, you know, either a Bone Chill or the Winter Tide. Now, making eggs. Cleared one of my walls with something that I missed. Ooh, that's pretty scary. Ooh, and he cleared the lava lance. Man, his hand's pretty exceptional. Well, it will likely be a pretty fair victory for him either way here. Okay, well, that helps. That means I may be able to set up enough walls here to do something, but it could also be pretty hard pressed here. I think we'll just get some gravity wells down close range and then just throw down Luminous just for the Winter's Wake potential. Just spreading out as much as I can here so I have as many angles as I have to defend from, and I'm lucky a good chunk of those will survive, although most of them are probably going to die, and thanks to his Zoetic Charm I'm pretty hard pressed to do much about that, but you know, doing what we can. You know, you got player 2, we didn't get much early game ramp, and Will Place Charm with answers for the Bone Shell. You just had the better hand, and that happens, especially with, you know, a nice consistent deck that runs 3 of us. Sorry, I'm just still so frustrated at stuff people have been saying about me and Wanderer today. But I'll try to let that drop now. Alright, he knows the Winter's Wake is coming. It's Moggen. I'm not surprised. So he is making sure not to play into it. I think he was able to just clear pretty much everything, which, nah. The moment that charm came on, when we were playing from behind, it was over then. Oh, actually, right, the Map Chill's having a point of attack is potentially more counterproductive, but that looks like it. Good game. Ragnar did Ragnar things, and Morgan played flawlessly and got the better hand. And that happens. Well, let's cast a Winter's Wake and just give it to him. Weird conceding at 25 health, but it's pretty thoroughly over, unfortunately. Yeah, it's definitely a matchup we can win. Like we're often quite a bit faster with ramp, and Elemental can pretty single-handedly wipe out his game plan a good chunk of the time, but doesn't always work out. Again, I hate to end on a loss. Let's grab one more. Let's grab one more with Kara, then win or loss. I'll move on to something. Although it's starting to get pretty late here, so I may not do much past that anyways. But we'll at least get one more with Kara, and if there's any other requests, I'll be happy to oblige. If not, I'll figure out what to do next. Well, the SO is not feeling well. Alright, up against Starhorn. So we're probably expecting either, Desi Spike shenanigans or Hate Furnace, but we will see. In either case, we really just want to be trying to ramp out faster than their game plan. Cryo is very good at killing off Decimus. We need it. It's a bit early for aspects, and it's not a deck that usually does a bunch of swarming. Alright, looking good. We have board clear, we have ramp, we have removal, got walls. All around good deal here. I think we just open with the ramp and go from there. Put it here, giving us the most access to globes. And next turn we will, and I think we like we hand. We have backline removal. We've got elemental shenanigans and Kara's favorite card, Luminous. Plus, we're going to get some extras from Spelljammer, so I think we just hang tight right now. Good old Wisp. It's not enough to make it worth throwing down an elemental. Wisp is always good. But we will see. Jata. Looking like I may want to go for that elemental, but we'll see. Let's see here. I would need... I could technically play... No, I don't have the mana for that, unfortunately. 3, 4, 5. And they would all three need to go at Jammer, which is fairly unlikely. Although, hold on now. If I elemental here... Okay, I don't see a way for me to get 2 elementals out with wall chains. Unfortunate, but 3. I could. Oh boy! All right, I have enough ping. I can probably live without the cryo. All right, but 3, 4, 5, 6. That will work. Okay, there we go. Now we've got. There we go. That's what we needed. Perfect. Got ramp on field. We have moderately defensively placed elemental. There we go. Looking good. And from here, we can do more elemental shenanigans. We can, well, actually, if this field's nice and empty, it may be a perfect time for Luminous, and we may just nix the Wisp plan altogether, because, you know, Vesper Engine mixed with Kara Luminous is pretty nasty. Likely replace at least one of the Wisps, but we'll see. Rager, cleared my poor little shivers. Right, one of these can go. Alright, we can, that'll work nice. Okay, can just... Okay, nah, I got this. Alright, so let's just put all of these around him. Put him nice and surrounded there. Then we'll hit this, put the Snow Chaser down, which will clear that for me, thanks to good old Elemental, who also needs to back up. Then we can Kinetic down. While Snow Chaser may not be in infiltrate range, more importantly, we were able to clear the thing that was going to give him the opportunity to escape, and, you know, get that nasty buffed up field off. Plus, you know, anything he sticks out now, like we've just got elemental abuse to deal with whatever he's got, and that's, you know, you'd have to clear that as well. Lava Lasher that. Well, that's what we expected, but that's alright, because we are Winter's Wake deck. We have all the time we need to find what remains here. Let's see here. Could still play Wisp. It's not a bad option. I think we'll go for it. So we will just play another. That's not a command I can have, but I can show you the deck. It's on my master thread under Volkara. You can go take a gander at it over there. Alright, so I think I do want to play the Wisp. Let's toss the Gravity. A little bit of a shame, but ooh, very good. Alright, so we've got our late game covered. So now let's just set these up nice and defensively. I may as well. No, I don't need to be close. Let's play around Cantor a little bit here. And split the elementals up. And then I can clear this here. And then let's just keep him over there away from us. I may as well trade that in. I've got plenty of walls that are going to come down from Grandmaster. I may get plasma'd, and that'd be unfortunate, as my elementals would go goodbye. But that's alright, because you know, I can just follow. Ooh, I've even got Imbala Winter's Wake. Things going real nice here. Even if he does Plasma, that's his whole turn, and that's my follow-up. Crater. Well, good for him there. He managed to make both Grandmaster and Winter's Wake thoroughly unappealing this turn. But with this nastiness up here, I can just Winter Tide and win that way. I can just save this for a better opportunity. At this point, let's see. Let's just put them all right above him. Wipe his field nice and thorough. Get them nice and buffed up. This is all too good now. Perhaps I should have locked him down so he was just a little closer to those for potential Winter's Wake finish, but oh well, it is what it is. Let's see. Let's make Cantor less that's not less appealing, giving him... Oh, great, can't hit the... No. Alright, so we're fine. We're out of any Starhorn shenanigans here. Got 7 mana. 8 mana is the earliest he can kill you from 18, so we're fine. We've got a well-developed field, and we have our in-game showing up shortly. We'll also get him low enough on health in a moment here that he can't really do any sort of double spike stuff. Alright, the Little Wisp we certainly don't need at this point. Path Jammer. We'll just clear out with those. Can't quite... Umbala would be preferred. Yeah, let's just clear. Do I get the attack in with this? Yeah, let's do it right here. Throw the Grandmaster up here. And call that good. Again, Plasma Storm would be pretty rough on us, but Plasma would pretty much eat his whole turn, and then he's at high risk of death by Grandmaster. Also, at this point, no, that would just be death by Grandmaster and that Luminous Charge. This is probably it for him, although I guess technically, if he had Flash, Decimus, double spikes, he could do me in at this mana. But that's unlikely, as it's a 4-card combo. I guess a Finality would buy him a turn, but that's not a common choice for Starhorn because sort of the opposite of that, the shorter the game goes, usually the more benefit you can get out of 1 or 2 extra draws, because your opponent is more than likely just their hands can be full and won't have much use out of that Seeking Eye, whereas you've geared or you've built your curve around that eye. Starhorn discs although he doesn't. Well, that's not entirely true, because the later the game goes on, the more likely it is he can pull off, the double spikes Decimus combo. So, I mean, Starhorn was just solid all around. It's just, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just sort of rambling on about nothing now, aren't I? Oh well. Even without the Winter's Wake, it was not needed, just due to the power of the Dix Visper synergy. Given Plasma Storm could have gone a long way. Well, it is what it is. That's what the deck does. Wins pretty consistently. It can compete with aggro just via having such a fast clock thanks to its ramp. It can compete with late game by just having a very scary late game. It's got a lot of ways to clear the board. It's lots of fun. Alright, so what did we want now? I do believe Pertz, Pertz is offline. He was looking for Ragnarok stuff. Let's see. Well, I'm not getting... Alright, I do have another Magmar Quest, so we could play some Ragnarok things, since given the only person that asked for Ragnarok is no longer around. Alright, let's see here. So we can play my go-to, combo-centered Ragnarok, which is my favorite. We can play the more standard, mid-range, egg-focused Ragnarok deck. Just banks on Fusing Charm, a couple extra hatch tools, egg spam. Or, we can do just play the control deck using Ragnar's Bloodborne spell to do a ton of work. Which is, very similar in principle to Vath. It's just a little bit different matchups. But let's go for my favorite, which is the combo-centered Finality version, as it is a lot of fun. Finality is certainly not a fan favorite. The giant, full, 20 damage combos are pretty exciting sometimes. So we'll grab game with that and may call that a night. Let's see. There we are. Alright, let's see, we are up against Cass, so Rebuke may be pretty good. Alright, Bender may also be pretty good. That's our opening play. Alright, we can live without the Rebuke. Bender is pretty good at clearing creep or dealing with Juggernauts. Although, who is this? This is Starkly. Actually, I believe last I checked, Starkly was playing like Bone Crushers as well, so I don't know if that... No, that's the most general purpose, and I need to start digging for combo stuff. Metallurgist again. Not a real exciting hand, but sometimes that happens. Oh, okay. Abdicator Finality, that's a good deal. Alright. I think we'll go ahead and... don't need this Rage Finder. Yeah, it's looking like we'll throw down an Abdicator and an egg. We'll let the Abdicator suicide into the ooze for us. And we'll go ahead and place an egg defensively, but as close as we can. Well, actually it can. No, that's really as close as it can get while having the most reach. Although here, it's a little bit more likely to be able to run over and kill the crawler. But okay, yeah, let's do it this way. So it is contesting the globe and is the closest to crawler, as that's gonna do itself in there. Now there's a chance it may just die to ooze RNG, but that happens. It happens. Shame we missed the thumping combo with that, but that's alright. Alright. That's not a bad spot at all for that tile to go. Good old Shadow Nova. I may just be throwing down a Lightbender for lack of something better to do here. Well, let's see. I certainly don't need two of these, at least not right now. Okay, Charm. Charm is an option. Charm Bloodborne spell is solid. But I would like to stop that from doing things here. Can dispel, that'll help. But I think I'd rather have the dispel if he throws down a Juggernaut, or when I can get a couple more creep tiles at a time. So let's trade this in, because otherwise it just dies to Scar. Let's hop up here. Go ahead, do some damage, then equip the charm, and get out the egg as safe as we can. Given, he could plenty of ways for him to still deal with it, but it's a lot more work for him to deal with now. Plus, we have answers for stuff he puts down. We can dial the creep back a bit, and if we survive till 7, we're in pretty good shape. Alright, so far looking like we have a decent chance of that egg surviving. Which, if we get lucky and pull a Fortitude, we may just win right here. Desolator, looking like, okay. Alright, there we go. If he was going to give me the opportunity, I was definitely going to drop that Bender and take out a couple creep and a Desolator. Alright, well, let's toss one of these. Finality is soon, but still a ways off. I may go ahead and Bender anyways, just to dial back creep. I think that's my best bet. Let's pop down here. Bender will guard our face from and protect us from artifact loss a little bit, and I can wipe out a bit of creep here without much collateral damage there. Although, if I trade in with the Rip... Oh, well, he doesn't have Scar next turn, so this is a good time to get a trade in. Although he does have Desolator, so I guess just Desolator will let him clear the Charm and the Ripper. So perhaps I should have not traded with the Ripper, but oh well. It's a small difference there. No, that was a mistake. I should have not traded with the Ripper. I should have saved the Ripper alive to give me the potential to, get an early combo, but oh well, that happens. Interesting, he's not going to go for the egg clear. That's very... Oh, well, I suppose equipping a Spectral Blade does go a long way, because that keeps it from doing its traditional little... Greater Fortitude combo. And we'll never really get the opportunity to play Obliterate thanks to 7 mana Finality. Yep, Desolator, that was expected. Yeah, well, we don't need the expensive Finality, that's for sure. Well, Slasher and Propagate's pretty solid. So yeah, let's slash. Is there a reason not to trade my Ripper in? Okay, now I'll explicitly want to, because otherwise he can just scar it and kill it and the egg. So let's put it, not a huge difference where it goes, but throw it there. We'll take a step back to protect us from Grasp of Agony. Let's break that. That way we have the ability to do a Ripper Egg combo should it present itself. And next turn, if we don't just combo him to death, we can Finality at 12 health, and him at being at 7 mana, I'm feeling pretty safe. Although I guess that was a bit of an unnecessary risk, because now he could play a Azalea. That would give him 7, 8, 9. Although, even if he plays an Azalea and his Abyssal Scar, I'm still alive. So I think we made the right call there. Just put it on a little bit more aggression, make sure we get maximum value out of this Finality here. And he's either got a... Okay, now that he's played Yielding Depths, he definitely doesn't have the mana to kill me. And finality is probably going to do him in here. Although there's a chance I may just be able to thumping wave him to death, but we will see what happens. Good old Munch. That card is super solid. Alright, but now we'll just let finality do its thing. Still got a rebuke in case he does drop something big. Other finality, but that's alright. We'll just throw that down, start going face with this massive disparity now. Plus well, okay, actually I guess we're a long way away from proper combo again, but that's alright. At this point now we can just bank on finality winning the game for us with our hand packed full of control spells. Yep, there's the Juggernaut, so we'll now be having an excellent rebuke turn. Probably just replace this Crypto. Yep, very good rebuke. Let's limit his mobility. Nope, there's no point in me playing that egg. In fact, it will be a drawback because it will just give him extra creep. There's no purpose in me playing it right now. And at this point, since we happen to have 2 7-mana finalities, that is probably all we really need to do this game. Although I need to not be careless. But with the removal in my hand, feeling pretty good. Alright, Desolator, making sure I don't steal, Dispel or Transform it, since I have that in abundance here. Let's go ahead and just put down some threats. Force him to spend mana on clearing the egg this turn. And keep the punishment going here. Again, that was a small risk there, because now he's at 11, 12, 12 after a Bloodborne spell, so 12. Okay, that was... Actually, didn't make a difference. If he had Azalea, I was dead regardless. But with that in mind, I may have wanted to consider backing off and just waiting for my finality. So that was actually a mistake, gap closing there at all, but Azalea is much less commonly run. So I got a little greedy there. I should have just played it safe into the second finality. There was no reason for me to take the risk of just death by artifact there. I mean, there was a reason. It was a gamble. Doing it means I could win this turn. But no reason to gamble when I had a safe bet. Although this Spare Abjugators... Oh, I suppose just finalitying again is probably my best bet, actually. Yep, I think we'll go ahead and do that. No, I'm gonna... Actually, yeah, that's quite good. Alright, so we get second 7-mana finality. And just keep trying to beat him down here. In fact, I think just... Well, no, Desolator will protect him from that, but that's okay. We're not in a hurry again. Ooh, there's a Fortitude. That's good. Because thanks to that discounted Magmar from super early on, 3, 4, 5, plus what we got here, more than, I mean, that's almost enough by itself, but yeah, we're good. Yeah, hard fought. It's not many games you go through 2 finalities, given I did have 2 7 manas, which that was a good game. Alright, well, I think that's a pretty high note to end the night on. Sorry that I was a little ranty today, because about some unnecessary drama on Reddit. But other than that, I think we all had a good time. Thanks for stopping by, everyone. I'm just going to call that a little bit of an early night. I'll still probably pay attention to the chat for another 15 minutes, half hour. But other than that, I think we're good for the evening. Well, see you all next time.